Under the stark glare of neon lights in the throbbing heart of the city, Victor Malone strolled down Henderson Avenue with an urgency well masked by a casual saunter. The smooth soles of his shoes tapped lightly against the damp pavement, the city's recent drizzle casting everything in a glistening veneer. Victor, a private investigator by trade, was deep into a case that had twisted more than the back alleys of his urban labyrinth. A high-profile, seemingly straightforward gig to track down a missing piece of tech had spiraled into a web of blackmail and secrets that could choke the breath from the mighty city itself. As he approached the Midnight Howl, a notorious jazz club rumbling with the deep cadence of a bass, Victor adjusted his trench coat and hat. These were his armor in a world that required facade and bravado more than truth and transparency. The bouncer, Hank, a burly man with eyes as sharp as broken glass, nodded once, recognizing Victor not by face but by necessity. Information was a currency Hank traded in readily. Inside, the club was a slick promise of anonymity. Dark corners paired with the wail of a saxophone created an atmosphere of private agony and ecstasy. Towards the bar, under the sparse light flickering through smoke, was his informant, Jazz Marlene. Her presence commanded the shadows, making them whisper secrets only the desperate or foolish would want to hear. "Jazz," Victor greeted as he slid onto a stool beside her, his voice low enough to blend with the music's bass line. "You said you had something on the Sinclair case?" She toyed with her glass, the ice clinking like a warning. "It's bigger than we thought, Vic. It's not just about some missing tech. It's about what it can do. And who's interested?" Her words were a cold splash of reality in Victor's already murky world. The missing piece of tech, an advanced chip with potentially catastrophic capabilities, wasn't just a lucrative bounty. It was a siren calling dangerous interests out from the woodwork. Mercenary groups, foreign spies, corporate giants cloaked under philanthropy. Victor's thoughts were interrupted by a sudden chill as the door swung open, ushering in a gust of cold air and a new player into this dimly lit chess game. A man, unremarkable in every aspect except the deliberate way he surveyed the room, his gaze pausing on Victor and Jazz. That pause, that calculating pause, was all Victor needed to know. The game had just shifted. The prey might just have become the predator. As the stranger approached, Victor placed a hand subtly on the revolver holstered under his coat. Friend or foe, in this business, assumptions could be deadly. "You, Malone?" The stranger's voice was rough, edged with a menace that did not require amplification. "I might be," Victor replied, his own voice a mask of indifference. "Depends on who's asking." The stranger smiled, a gesture devoid of warmth. "Let's just say I represent interested parties who are very invested in finding this little piece of tech before your other, shall we say, clients do. You could stand to make a lot more than your usual cut." Victor weighed his options as he studied the man. Ally temporarily or not, this new player could open doors that were previously bolted shut, providing necessary leverage. But at what cost? "All right," Victor said, finally, his decision made but his guard firmly up. "Let's talk." The saxophone's mournful cry filled the ensuing silence. Deals were made and truths were obscured in whispers. Meanwhile, the city outside continued its restless vigil, unaware of the machinations unfolding in its shadowy veins. As the meeting concluded and future alliances were as yet undecided, Victor stepped back into the night, the pieces of the puzzle now more entangled. His heart was heavy, his resolve firmer. This was more than a case now. It was a narrative that could decide the fate of far more than just missing technology. Back into the embrace of the city's twilight, Victor Malone melted away, each step echoing against the concrete like a promise and a threat all mixed into one. The chase, as always, was far from over.